I just did so many poses and drank some of my drink and I wasn't recording! Welcome back to Every Disney Movie Ever. My name is Jess and I'm watching Every Disney Movie Ever. Today I'm going to talk about WALL-E. It's 700! Can you believe that? That is so insane. I genuinely cannot believe that. Actually. 700, I feel like 600, I was like, wow, that's crazy. 700 or 600 is crazy. But being at 700, I'm like, oh, I'm close. I'm getting close to the end, which not really. I have close to 300 movies left, but compared to how many I've done, that's nothing. Little Mermaid was forever ago. That's crazy, because that was 300. Okay. Crazy. But let's get after it. Let's talk about WALL-E. Let's have some fun. Enjoy the blue space moment back here. Enjoy the blue slushy moment over here. If you do not have a slushy or a snack of some kind, strap in. I have no idea how long my video is going to be. Probably not that bad. WALL-E is a 2008 theatrical release about a robot that falls in love while simultaneously saving the human race. It is directed by Andrew Stanton, cinematography by Martin Rosenberg, supervising animators are Alan Barillaro and Stephen Clay Hunter, editing by Stephen Schaffer, music by Thomas Newman, and it's written by Andrew Stanton and Jim Reardon. Why is the initial taste giving egg? It is, the very first initial taste that hits my tongue gives me egg. Also, not to be distracted by the slushie, frick frack! Have you bought the new merch yet? The film stars Ben Burtt as Wally and Mo, Elissa Knight as Eve, Jeff Garlin as the captain, and Fred Willard as Shelby Forthright. The idea was actually formed at that same lunch that Monsters, Inc. and Finding Nemo came from, and Andrew had said, what if all humans had to leave Earth and forgot to turn off the last robot? That was kind of the pitch, the idea. It was developed under the name Trash Planet in 1995 for some time, but they ended up stopping. Pete Docter ended up to divert to work on Monsters, Inc. Stanton then later had the idea, what if WALL-E would find a plant as the lone inhabitant of Earth? And then Lasseter and Stanton figured the natural progression from loneliness was to fall in love. After Finding Nemo, Stanton got back into it and he wrote a script, and it was very because there's not a lot of dialogue, he wrote the dialogue in brackets conventionally to remind people. He wrote conventional dialogue but put it in brackets to remind us that they're robots, they're not actually speaking. And then all the visuals were actually in really short sentences. He didn't get super descriptive with them. In 2003, he did a story reel that impressed Lasseter and Jobs, so it got greenlit. And then it got real bizarre. The beginning of the movie fell out of the sky for Stanton. He said the beginning was so easy, the rest was hard. He had aliens planting Eve. He had them fighting the last remnants of the human race that had turned into gels, you could say, is what they refer to them as. It had that royalty and fights. What else do I have? And Stanton, it just was too bizarre. So then they kind of landed on WALL-E and Eve would potentially inspire humans to stand and walk again, grow up, you could say. And they moved backwards from the gel formations that were humans and started to make them more and more recognizable as humans, and eventually landed on very human-like forms, just very baby-like and fetus-like, because they weren't doing any walking to form their bones and stuff. I'm telling you, it's giving egg. They switched from originally having Eve get hurt to having WALL-E get hurt because they felt it was more impactful. And then they went a step further and had the whole WALL-E losing his memory for a second idea to really make the story push and feel the impact of the sacrifice. And then after some screenings, they realized that with the humans arriving on Earth and it just kind of being the end, some people were taking it and turning it negative, being yeah, well, I bet they didn't last 3 days. XYZ, and Pixar and Stanton really didn't want there to be a debate of it ending on a positive note, so in the credits they did do continuing storyboard type moments where it shows that the humans didn't die out right away and they did survive and they adapted and continued and became little farmers and stuff like that. This was the most complicated, technically speaking, since Monsters, Inc. It had 125,000 storyboards. Color-wise, they really avoided yellows because they wanted Wally to stand out. He's over here right now. They wanted Wally to stand out. Stanton really wanted it to look like the sci-fi films of his youth. So he really wanted long barrel shots and lens flares and racking focuses and all the like sci-fi things. And then the live action bits was like a huge step for Pixar because it really added to the realism and also was the first time Pixar had done something like that. Obviously Disney was known like for doing random hybrid things, but it was a big deal for Pixar to kind of do a hybrid thing. They really wanted the box and egg visual between Wally and Eve. So you have, he's so boxy and she's like a sleek little egg. They really wanted that visual to help with, you know, just all of it, really. Eve, stay. Thank you. And this is like my favorite tidbit. Animators watched Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin films every day for almost a year before they would animate their robots. And then they would also watch 2001: A Space Odyssey, The Black Stallion, and Never Cry Wolf. Movies that had sound but weren't reliant on dialogue to really help them with their movie and how to tell a story so visually without dialogue. And then the sound was obviously incredibly important. So Ben Burtt had the run of the sound studio. He had access to all of Jim McDonald's old stuff to be able to make whatever sounds he needed to make. And obviously the story deals with major themes of waste and environment and consumerism and lots of discussions surrounding technology being the villain of the film and creating complacency and laziness and reducing human relationships. It's aged very well, I'd say. And the Christianity references with Eve being named Eve was intentional. Andrew Stanton did do that on purpose. The film had a $180 million budget and made $532.5 million in the box office. It's very good. Has a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes consensus. WALL-E's stellar visuals testify once again to Pixar's ingenuity, while its charming star will captivate younger viewers, and its timely story offers thought-provoking subtext. Very good. It won Best Animated Feature at the Oscars, was nominated for Screenplay, Score, Sound Editing, and Sound Mixing. In 2021, it was selected to be in the National Film Registry at the Library of Congress, and in 2022, it was added to the Criterion Collection. What do I even say? This movie is stunning. It has stood the test of time. I haven't seen this. I don't want to say theaters because I think that might be wrong, but I definitely haven't seen this in forever. Like, I don't think I've seen it since before college, if I've seen it since theaters, which means I probably watched it soon after seeing it in theaters and then haven't seen it since. It is stunning. It is so gorgeous. The opening, everything on Earth being like blown out and really bright, and like you just feel like it's scalding hot in the sun because of all the trash and the ozone layer's just toasted. And it just seems so hot, and he's so by himself, just like compacting all this trash, doing the dang job. And then the stuff in space is so stunning. The whole, like, I know the sequence the sequence where Wally and Eve fly around in space with the fire extinguisher. So gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. And just all of it, it's so stunning. The scene where Wally does get hurt and the like big Wallies, I forgot what they're called. They're like they're bigger. I forgot what they're called. And the light is like shining down just so stunning. Just all of it is so gorgeous. I could put just like a slew of gorgeous shots. Why don't we do that? I'll just sit here and drink this for a second. Slew of gorgeous shots. Music, Thomas Newman never misses, really, does he? I feel like everything he's done for Disney, well, that's not true. So Nemo and WALL-E sound a little similar, I think. And then Nemo and A Series of Unfortunate Events, which is not Disney, sound like identical. There were times I'd be listening and I'd be like, Nemo? And I'd open it and it's like A Series of Unfortunate Events, and then vice versa. But his stuff, the stuff he did for Ice Age is not similar to WALL-E and Nemo, but the stuff for WALL-E is no less stunning. It is gorgeous. It's perfect for the film. I think it fits absolutely perfectly. And I think the opening song is so perfect for like what they're going over. Just the shots of like all the by and large consumerism, the billboards, the flashing stuff, oh my god, just all of it. It's like so, but it's desolate and there's garbage everywhere. Just mounds and mounds of garbage. In how people lived in that before they even left Earth is insane. It's very effective. And then the 2001: A Space Odyssey sting was so great. I love that because they watched that so much they decided to use the song. How do you not? Come on, it's so good. And I loved that. I thought it was really fun. Alright, so I think I'll dive into like the big theme stuff. Obviously, I've already kind of mentioned it. This movie obviously has a very big say on waste and consumerism and complacency and technology. And it's so interesting, one, because Pixar, Steve Jobs, where do I go? There's so many places to go. It's interesting that they have these messages in this film when Pixar is creating technology that is so insane. And Steve Jobs, who, was big deal owned Pixar and was a big deal at Pixar, has Apple, and that's creating a lot of like ease and allowing complacency and all that kind of stuff, which, it's about like, technology is fabulous, obviously. I would not be sitting here reviewing this if we haven't made leaps and bounds in my lifetime. But I think the waste and consumerism aspect of this film, I think, is such an important message. For me, it's the environment, waste, and consumerism is the most important message in the film. Yes, technology has evil sides of it, 100%. The whole social media, parasocial relationships, and bullying, and horrible meanness, and misinformation, and just everything that can come with the internet is so scary, but obviously there are also very beautiful things that come from the internet. Like my dad living in Costa Rica and me being able to talk to him at a moment's notice. Literally could not deal with that. He would not be allowed to be living in Costa Rica if I wasn't able to do that. You know what I mean? There's beautiful aspects to technology and, in healthcare, just the sheer amount we've been able to overcome in healthcare with technology and all that kind of stuff. There obviously are very beautiful uses and all that kind of stuff, but there is the whole toxic side of it and bad side of it. But the waste and environment message is so important because, especially since this movie has come out, I think it's just so topical. That is happening. I feel like it is actively happening. Our oceans are covered in garbage. The marine life is constantly being bombarded by pollution. Climate change is out here doing the dang thing. So we really should be listening to Wally. We should be little trash compactors and really trying for that. And obviously it's not like your regular average Joe Schmo's fault. It is giant corporations and oil companies. It's not like, me, myself, just recycling this every day will make a big difference. Granted, I do recycle. I'm a big recycler. And I try to, reduce waste as much as I can. But we do live in, but, my dent is nothing compared to if we can get giant corporations and oil companies and monopolies and all of that to work on it. You know what I mean? Anyway, my whole point of that is the message of this movie when it comes to waste, consumerism, environment, all of that is still so applicable to today, and maybe even more so. And I think maybe everyone should give WALL-E a rewatch because it's so good. I mean, it's more about WALL-E and Eve, but it is, in the grand scheme, just the whole waking the people up, when that one woman gets knocked out of her screen and she sees the stars outside. I feel like it's such a throwaway moment because you're so focused on Wally and Eve, but to me that was so big. It was such a wake-up call. It's such a great metaphor for people who realize You know, it's just so good. Anyway, I can jump into more like fun things. I'm obviously, you know how I feel about bad dialogue, so the fact that this movie has barely any, oh, it's so good. I think I love it that much more because of how much they had to show and not tell. And that's a big thing in film school. If you can show it, show it. It's film. That's the medium. It's not a radio. It's not a podcast. It's not some show over audio only. It is a visual medium. So show everything you can and then tell them what you can't show. And that's hard for everyone. I think it's hard to do, personally, but I think they accomplished it beautifully. And the fact that they would watch Never Cry Wolf, which is a Disney movie, and I love that movie, especially because there's like no dialogue in it. I think, what is his name? Charles Martin Smith, I think is his name. He is so good in that movie. That was unlike anything else he had done for Disney. He was in like a bunch of Herbie movies being stupid. Like, he was good. He was good. His character was stupid. And then he comes out in Never Cry Wolf, which is just, like, I think was, like, way too much of an artistic reach for Disney at the time. I think people were not expecting that. And it is so, it's so good. And the fact that they watched it to, like, be like, oh, look, a film that Disney has made that has, like, barely any dialogue. That's really great. Like, at storytelling. I was obsessed learning that piece of information. But anyway, they accomplished their goal. They accomplished the mission of showing us as much as they physically can. And really, I feel like the person that talks the most besides like the captain is Shelby Forthright, who is Fred Willard, the live action person. And it's all like, you know, you're finding stuff or this. And then obviously like the stuff you get like, is it Hello Dolly? Right? Or is it Meet Me in St. Louis? What is it? I hate myself for this. Oh my God. All of my musicals are running together. I don't know. You understand. Anyway, I'm obsessed with that. It's literally worth the watch again if you haven't seen it in a while, just because of how little dialogue there is. Like, it's just worth it. Wally making a fool of himself is so iconic. Like, what a mood, Wally. Like, we're all there. I've seen myself in you, Wally. I am nowhere near an Eve. I am a Wally for sure. Her Eve being fed up with Wally is so hilarious. Like, her being like, but like loving him, iconic. Her being so happy he found the plant, and then giving him the little shock, and him like, not being able to function is just so cute. And then one of my favorite parts, I think, which is the part that I like definitely did not remember, was when they go through security footage on Eve, and she's able to see what Wally was doing for her when she was shut down with the plant. So good. I forgot that she gets to like see that. I thought, you know, whatever, but when she does get to see it, oh my God, it's just so touching. It's so beautiful. I also totally forgot that like Wally and Eve rally the reject robots, which I think is so fun and also a message in and of itself, I feel like. Because I feel like the society is very much like, if it's broken, throw it away instead of trying to fix whatever it is. So showing that these things that were broken or not working right still have a use, also a fabulous message and so good. My mom is a huge, like, if it's not broken or if it can be fixed or whatever, we're not getting rid of it. Just because it's broken, we're not throwing it away type situation. Like, you know, I was very much, we loved that kind of stuff. How fast Eve repairs Wally. So good. And then the memory forgetting is brutal. And I, for a minute, because I haven't seen this in so long, was like, wait, does he, like, actually, like, he just doesn't remember and she has to start from scratch with him? Because that is so sad. But then he remembers, and it's so worth it. This is beautifully told. It's beautifully written. It's a very incredible plot. I truly think there isn't a moment that is unnecessary. I think they have just enough little fun side things going on. And then, you know, I feel like the villain, the autopilot, isn't like as evil or as scary as I thought it was gonna be. It's truly like was doing the job it had been told to do. And it, you know, it just had to be switched into manual. So like it was going, the people who had created it didn't realize how far it would go to foresee, like follow through on what it was told to do mission. but the machine was doing what it was told to do. So it's like this whole like, it's just good. It has so many layers and so many levels, and I feel like we, you know, every time we talk about it, we could like pick out a new thing to like dissect. It's really good. It's truly egg-tastic. My favorite part, I can't pick a favorite part. All right, I'd have like the handhold, probably, because it's just so good. But there are so many parts of this that are like so good. My least favorite part, that's harder. I feel like maybe Otto doing something like shady, but again, it was technically doing the job it was told to do, and it wasn't given specifications to at what lengths do its job, so it's just doing what it's supposed to do. So I don't know if I have a least favorite part. I absolutely recommend it. I absolutely will watch this again. I bought it for myself because I didn't own it, which was shocking. I thought I did, but I do not own it, so I bought it for myself so it can just be part of the collection. Because it's so good. Specific moments. I had totally forgotten that Wally wasn't watching an old tube TV with a VCR in it. It was a VCR connected to an iPod with a giant magnifier in front of it. I don't think I ever even knew that. I don't think I ever even noticed. So the ingenuity of Wally to do that, and also the nod to like an iPod for Steve Jobs, iconic. And then Wally having a pet cockroach that he feeds like the Twinkies, and the cockroach surviving everything. A very fun little side story. The fact that the cockroach waited for them to come back. And every time he thought he crushed the cockroach like couldn't die. Oh my god, just so good. I love that little side thing. I knew this was good, you guys. Come on, like I knew, but it had been so long. So to watch it as an adult who can understand like the waste and consumerism and environment messages was really moving, and so it hit different as an adult. A113 being like a much bigger part of this movie. Pixar always tries to sneak in an A113 reference because that's the classroom that a bunch of them were in at Caltech. Blah, blah, blah. So A113 appears in every Pixar movie, but sometimes in really small ways and other times in really big ways. In this one, it was a whole protocol, A1113 or whatever. And then the B&L jingle sound sounded like Sega's jingle sound. Sega! And like by and large, this was very similar. And then right at the end of the credits, Wally replaces Luxo Jr.'s like light moment for Pixar, which I thought was super cute and fun. This is great. I did cry. I cried a single tear. Because it just got me, man. It's just so good. It's so good. All right, that's everything I have for 700. Let's do one last sippy of my egg slushy here. That's everything I have for Wally. That's 700. 700. Am I gonna cry? I don't know. I'm kind of like jazzed about 700. I feel like we're almost there. Like, I feel very like we're almost there. I gotta keep going. How old was I when I started this? Wait. I was 23 when I started this? I was about to be, no. I was about to be 23? Literally, I was like 3 weeks out to being 23 when I started this project. I cannot think about it in that way. Okay, can't think about it like that. That is everything. My final rating for Wall-E is 10. 10 breakfasts in a cup. Here, I'll put it. I don't know where it'll be. Isn't it like usually? I think maybe it's usually here. Let's see how good my guess is. 10 slushy fizz freeze breakfasts in a cup out of 10. I hope it fits right here. Our total movie count is... And our cry count is... Parent Death Toll is still the same. If you want to keep up with the movie I'm watching when, follow me on Instagram or Twitter or wherever. It doesn't matter. Twitter's kind of dying. If you want to keep up with the movie I'm watching when, I put up videos every Monday and Friday and sometimes Wednesday, but it's been every day for the week of Guess. Tomorrow you get the anniversary video. It's all good things. Make sure you tune in tomorrow because it's top 10 best and worst of this year, and it's getting harder. Okay, it's getting harder. It used to be really hard for the worst. And now it's really hard for the good. Yeah, guys, buy merch. The new merch is so sick. Come on. Look at that. It's kind of like Star Wars-y almost, I feel like. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. If you can guess every Easter egg, maybe I'll give you a free piece of merch, because that's insane if you can. And then, oh, I didn't say join Patreon. Join Patreon. You only have a few days left of getting a benefit from the tier above you, no matter what price you join at, and you'll have access to all the stuff from August. I don't put all the answers to the trivia questions until the 1st of the next month. So you still have time to go back and answer every single trivia question for the month for $1. So go check it out. Patreon is a super good time. Head over there. I'm really trying to do more with it. I'm a busy person. I have so much jobs. So much jobs? I'm also bad at grammar, apparently. Anyway, this has been a ride. Oh my gosh, I'll say more in the anniversary video. But I'm so thankful. I was just reminded of the video I posted, I think 3 years ago at this point, where I said sometimes I feel like giving up, and I was having a whole breakdown. And I won't lie and say that those moments don't come and go. Of course they do. I'm human. It's perfectly natural. But lately I've been feeling just so grateful and consistently motivated. And regardless of my success on this channel, I'm proud of you guys for watching and thankful for you guys for watching. And I'm proud of myself for doing this for 7 years. That's a commitment. Okay. Until next time, which is tomorrow, comment, like, and subscribe, but I'm not in charge of your life. You are, so do you. And don't be auto about it, I guess. I'm sorry, I just thought about it being an egg slushy, and that's too much. I can't deal with that. That's disgusting. Recycle, reduce, reuse. We just filmed 700, film 700, film 700, film 700. We just filmed 700, film 700.